Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Churchill Downs here on Thursday. It is the 5th of May 2022. It's Derby Day from Churchill, and I'm going to look at all the stakes races on the program. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Also, join me tomorrow for my Kentucky Oaks preview, and I think Saturday, about my Derby preview. So join me for that. But it's Derby Day. It might be a wet Derby day from Churchill. So we're going to look at the stakes races. So just keep in mind with the moisture and the going. We'll be looking at races 5, 8. Excuse me, races 8, 9, and 10. Races 8, 9, and 10. Let's get to it right now. Can't speak. Can't think either. Let's look at the 8th race from Churchill, which is the opening verse overnight stakes. It's going for a purse of $160,000. Races for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 12 horses heading to the Matt Winn Turf Course. The distance of ground is 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Matt Winn Turf Course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile in the opening verse. And with a lot of rain in the forecast, traditionally the old Churchill turf course would drain very quickly. Now this new turf course with probably better technology and 30, 40 years newer than the old one, hopefully it's going to drain a lot quicker than the old one. If it does, it's probably going to be, it won't be as soft as it normally would at Churchill, which you don't have to worry about. So time, like I said, it always drains quickly at Churchill, even with the rain. Let's see how the new turf course drains, but I think it's really going to drain to a good going, maybe a good to soft, but yielding. But we'll have to see. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 5 horse, Mr. Dumas. Let's go 5-2-9-6 in the superfecta. 5-2-9-6 super. Top selection of 5 horse, Mr. Dumas. The 6-year-old horse by Majestic Perfection. John Ortiz trains one. Raylu Gutierrez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outcome, the 10th of April at Keeneland. A mile 16th in the allowance race for $136,000, and the horse finished second by a neck that day. The horse was just a little bit too wide throughout. He moved a little bit late, but it just wasn't anything spectacular to get the victory. Might have needed the race first time facing those tougher horses. Coming here, a little bit of a longer trip back to the Churchill turf course, speed favoring turf course if it has moisture into it. I think the horse could really run a good race here today. 2 back at turf when 10th of March, 1 mile on the Tapeta and optional 50. The horse won by 2 3/4 lengths, stalked all the way around the race course. When the horse got delayed, quickened up nicely, and all around easy race there back with Lasix. Prior to that, in Black Type Stakes, the Turfway, mile 16th on the 19th of February. The horse finished second by 2 3/4 lengths. Just couldn't get there late, but still ran his heart out. And then the Prairie Bayou at Turfway, mile 16th, right before Christmas. A race that's been coming up very tough the last few seasons. The horse finished second by 1 3/4 lengths and just couldn't catch Cross Border, who was getting some serious class relief, but still ran his heart out here. He's running well on the old turf course here, Churchill. 5-3 on it. He won here. A few seasons ago, going a mile in May 2020. His only main losses were the 26th of June, where he came up in a very tough allowance race of 2020, and then actually ran him in the Turf Classic 2020, where he just wasn't catching those much better horses. But he's trading well. Back to this course at 4-1. I'm going to give him a shot, along with the 2-horse Beatbox. William Morey trains one. Flavien Prat gets the mount. Most recently in the Kentucky Cup Classic at Turfway over the mile and 8th, he finished 5th by 9.5 lengths, and he had a bit of a trouble trip from the wide post draw. Coming here where he could settle on the turf course, if there's going to be a closer winning, I think it could be him. He's drawn well, 5-1. I'm going to give him a shot also in the, let's play a pick 3 with beginning with this race. So to recap my selection for the 8th from Churchill, it's the opening verse. We're going to take the 5-horse Mr. Dumas as a top selection, give kudos to the 2-horse Beatbox, 5-2-9-6 super. Let's go 5-2 in the multi-race. The 9th race, usually, and it is, for this year at least, and most years, it's the first 2-year-old race to look at for the year. It is the Kentucky Juvenile Stakes. It's going for a purse of $200,000. Race for 2-year-olds here. We have a field of 12 horses going the distance of ground here of 1,000 meters, or the distance of ground of 5 furlongs on the Churchill main track. 1,000 meters, 5 furlongs here in the Kentucky Juvenile. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 8 horse Rivet. We'll go 8953 in the superfecta, 8953 super. Top selection 8 horse Rivet. This 2-year-old colt by Competitive Edge. Steve Aspen trains. Joel Rosario gets the mount. They bought this horse for $70,000 in a sale last summer. His most recent outings appearance came the 13th of April, Keelan. 4.5 furlongs on a Headley course and a main special weight for $75,000. And he finished second by 1 3/4 lengths that day. And he basically lost all chances at the beginning. But what I liked about that run, he didn't fall into his true antics when they missed a break and just get lackadaisical. He really concentrated going around the turn. Joel got him to settle, and then in the final quarter, he really quickened up nicely. I didn't think it was a half bad race after all said and done. Coming here today, hopefully breaking on top. Looks like he could have some speed off the workout patterns. I think the horse could really run a good race. He's had two workouts since the last race, which I quite like. A 3 furlong workout on 38 flat, breezing, the 8th best workout, 11 locally, and then another local workout, a half mile on 52 and 3, 62nd best workout, 62, right after the race. So they're back to back. He should have some good stamina in him. Hopefully he breaks well. At 6 to 1, I'm going to use him along with the 9 horse here. Simply Super. 2-year-old colt by Super Saver. Mike Maker trains. Tyler Gaffleone gets the mount. The debut on the 20th of April. Keelan going 4.5 on the Headley course in a main special weight. He won by 1.5 lengths. And again, he stalked. He got the lead and got the job done. A very quick 52 and 1 for just over a half mile there. Again, workout patterns. He's a quick horse coming here. If there's going to be a horse on the front end winning, it could be him. He's probably going to lead from the wide post draw. 7 to 2. Let's use him in this pick 3 that we're going to begin with the previous race. But to recount my selection for the 9th from Churchill, it's the Kentucky Juvenile. Let's take the 8 horse Rivet. Give kudos to the 9 horse Simply Super. 8953 Super. Let's go 8-9 in the multi race. The 10th race from Churchill. It's the Unbridled Sidney Stakes. It's going for a purse of $200,000. Race for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have 9 horses heading to the Matt Winn Turf Course. The distance of ground of 1,100 meters, with the 5.5 furlongs on the Matt Winn Turf Course. 1,100 meters, 5.5 furlongs. And I show the diagram. It just gives me a second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 5 horse here, who is Change of Control. Let's go 5-2-4-7 in the superfecta. 5-2-4-7 super. Top selection of 5 horse, Change of Control. 6-year-old mare by Fed Biz. Michelle Lovell trains. Colby Hernandez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 16th of April at Keelan. 5.5 furlongs on a good turf course in the Giants Causeway. The horse finished 4th by 4 lengths that day. He doesn't break at times, which is becoming a thing with him lately. He didn't break so clearly. He was way out of it early, stupidly wide, but was really closing up well late. I would like to see him to break well today, because with the rails out, he's not going to get an easy trip with the rails being out like 20 feet today. Breaking well, being a little bit more forward in place on a turf course that has some give in it, I think he could run a lot better race than he did last time out in the Giant Causeway. Before then, the Mardi Gras at the Fairgrounds, 5.5 furlongs on the 1st of March. The horse finished 3rd by 4.5 lengths that day. Again, missed the break that day. He was a little lackadaisical early on. He moved a little bit late, but it wasn't anything spectacular. He has to break. Before that, again at Fairgrounds in a black type stakes over the 5.5 on the Stall Wilson turf course, he finished 2nd by nose. And again, he's just lackadaisical last year. Maybe his 6-year-old campaign, maybe she doesn't want to run anymore. But if you look at the races last fall, the horse really ran decently. Won the Autumn Days at Aqueduct on the outer turf course, going 3/4, winning by 3/4 length on the front end. Before that, in the Buffalo Frank County Stakes at Keelan, 5.5 furlongs on a very soft Keelan turf course, the horse won by 1.5 lengths from a stupidly wide poster. I thought that was a very good race there. And then they tried the horse in a routing in the Woodbine Mile, which I thought was a really wrong thing. This horse wants to go sprinting 5.5, maybe even 6 here in New York. But 5.5 is what this horse wants. Trained over the turf course well earlier this week. At 3 to 1, isn't a better spot to win, but she's going to have to break today. If she breaks well, that's going to be a very good sign to get her to the winner's circle. The 2-horse Brook Mary is your second likeliest winner. The 6-year-old mare by Lemon Drop Kid. Eddie Keneally trains. Luis Saez gets mount. This horse took a trip to the West Coast most recently at Santa Anita, about 6.5 furlongs down the hillside turf course into Monrovia. And the horseman by half length really, stalked that day, got the lead, drifting a little bit late, but first off the bench, you kind of expect a little gameness. But the horse got the job done. Before that, they ran her in a black type at the fairgrounds over the 5.5, where the horse really never showed up. Then, but when the Pens red had the fairgrounds going 5.5 very, very nicely by head, closing up from nowhere. This horse does the better running style from the front end, but she can close also. I'm going to give her a shot at 4-1 also. Definitely using your pick three that we're going to end off with this race. But to recap my selections for the 10th from Churchill, it is the Unbridled Sidney. Let's take the 5-horse Change of Control. Give kudos to the 2-horse Brook Mary. 5247 Super. 5-2 in the multi race. So good luck 12. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.